to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Christina.
We are your hosts. Welcome.
Welcome.
So awesome to be back in the studio.
Yes, and I'm super excited for this one because having a daughter myself, to really hear what our next guest has in her book and what she does, I'm excited for this.
I am too, and we booked her such a long time ago that I've been looking forward to it for a while now. So I think that everyone is going to learn something with this one. So let's just get in it. She is the owner and CEO of Erica Lanes LLC, an education and training company that partners with corporate, community, and student organizations interested in leadership, professional, and academic development. As a dynamic leadership specialist and author of the book, My Selfie Needs No Filter, she has inspired thousands of individuals to make life-changing transformations to become confident and competent leadership lane drivers. Through decades of experience leading and coaching diverse teams, being voted Teacher of the Year by her class of students, and obtaining her bachelor's degree and master's degree, she has unmatched gift of creating unforgettable experiences for her audiences of all backgrounds and cultures. Please welcome Erica Lanes to Deals with Heels.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
We are so excited to have you. And I have your book that I bought back when we originally talked, and it's a great book. And we'll talk about how everyone else can get it too when we come a little bit later in the program. But first and foremost, please tell our audience your entrepreneurial journey, because you have done a wide variety of things, and I love where you've ended up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I think so. My passion, I just have a tagline. I have a mind for business and a heart for healthcare. So I started out in the healthcare sector. I went to University of South Alabama in Mobile, Alabama to pursue my BSN, so my bachelor's as a registered nurse. And eventually went on to the University of West Florida to get my bachelor's in health education. And then eventually went on to further my education and receive my master's degree in healthcare administration. But my passion lied with education and training. So I think that, I was on the right track with the health education degree, but I really needed to be front and center. I needed to be able to, I love seeing that light bulb go off when people start to get it. That's just like me. You know how it is when you make that things to do list and you start checking things off? It gives me a sense of satisfaction. It does something to my Abdullah oblongata. So I love being able to see that light bulb go off. And over time, eventually I ended up teaching at the middle school level. And that is where I became known as the teenage whisperer. So that was where they just kind of gravitated to me. They felt like I was a safe space. I was seen as a mentor, as an aunt, as a big sister in some cases, and they would express themselves. They would let me know what was going on in their world. And with the topic that I taught at the middle school level, it definitely gave them a platform. And so from there, it just kind of built. And although from that point, I was still able to pursue different career opportunities in healthcare administration, just kept pulling me back in. And so in 2021, that was when I decided, after coming out of my think tank, which is my shower, that I was going to do something for the teens. And that's kind of how My Selfie Needs No Filter was birthed, in my shower with a thought and a prayer. I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was led in the direction of where My Selfie Needs No Filter has taken me thus far. So that's kind of my track, leading there. But in terms of entrepreneurship, I used to own a home care agency. I did that since 2016, and then COVID ran me out of business. Well, caused us to close our doors for a while. in 2021. And then now with the education and training company, that is full throttle. And I just got my 501c3 status. So we are now a nonprofit organization as of last month.
Fantastic.
So it just keeps going and getting better.
It does. And I remember that you're a boy mom,
I am yeah,
right?
hashtag
But
boy.
all of your stuff is centered pretty much around teen girls and teen
Yes.
girl empowerment, which is such an important thing. Christina has a daughter. I raised two daughters, and I have vivid memories of how difficult that is and how hard as a group they are of each other, and they're so insecure. And we're so happy that you're focusing on that. How did that
Thank you.
happen, being a boy mom?
You know, um, like I said, the girls, they kind of gravitated to me. I have two nieces. So my brother had the girls and then I had the boys. So that's how my parents kind of got the best of both worlds two times over, two times over.
Right?
But my brother has a son too. But it just, I started moving in obedience. So I did not set out saying, I am going to be a voice for teenage girls. I After a while, I did see how the teenage pregnancy rate, depression rate, suicide rate was steadily increasing, not so much as with pregnancy because of the things that we have now, but definitely with the suicide and depression. And just all things considered, I just felt like this just may be a lane for me, which is my hashtag is find your lane and step into it. So I didn't necessarily set out to do it. It was just where I was led. It's one of my many passions is to, empower, educate, and train. And this has been such a great blessing for me thus far.
And really, middle school, which I say is also known as purgatory, is a great. That's girls really start to kind of lose that identity a little bit. They become really hard on each other. They become boy crazy a little bit, and they lose kind of their identity and respect with teachers. They kind of start losing all of that at that point too. And I love that you kind of find your way through it, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, and just having I will never her name is Miss Addison in middle school for me because I did lose my identity. I was very much bullied. I was not in a good place at home.
Yeah,
And so it's always so interesting to me that people like you and to be that platform, to be that voice. And it's so nice because even through the screen, I'm gravitating towards you. So it's you have that personality about you that
oh,
I feel that a lot of people can gravitate to because you just are so real, you're so authentic,
She's
which
thank
very kind of vivacious and have a great
yeah,
smile for sure.
yes.
thank
Um,
you.
I like how your book, and let's face it, teenagers, girls or boys, don't have a very big attention span.
Um,
And I like how your book has a lot of quick tips, like almost a daily tip and encouragement, but it also dives deep into it.
yeah,
And what do you hope that your readers get out of it? Whether that's a parent reading, because I read all the books that my kids read,
yeah,
especially when they got older.
yeah,
And it was okay. I never took anything away. If they were curious about what was in a book, that was fine. But I read it too in case they had questions about it.
yeah.
And so, whether it's a parent reading it or it's one of your teenage girls that look up to you so much reading it, what do you hope they get from it?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I like how you recognize that it was designed to be a short read, get in and get out. Because yes, some teens, their attention spans are like squirrels, and I can say that because I used to be a teen and I have two teenage boys. So being able to hit that high level view of what it is that we want them to take away, so almost like the meat and potatoes, and then being able to get out and go on to the next point. Now, there are some areas where I do make it a little colorful. I try to add some graphics in there for the visual learners. I was very aware of the different type of learners that may pick up my book, and then the ages too. So I appreciate that you recognize that. But, with my selfie needs no filter, what I want for people to understand and when they read the book is that there is no right or wrong interpretation or understanding of what this means. It's very subjective. And I want my reader to know also that, for one, this book was designed and made exclusively for them because I understand how unique each and every person is, whether it's your cross eyes, whether it's your freckles, whether it's your frizzy big hair, no matter how tall, short, thin you are so uniquely designed and crafted and made. And that is what makes you special. That is your superpower. And so at the end of this book, I want them to understand that, for one, you're not alone. You're not alone. It's so many people your age, some who have been there and done that already, who have gone through or who are going through some of the same things that you are. And then for two, for them to be able to embrace their uniqueness. I wanted to empower them, put it out there in the forefront, and let them know all those things that you have been told are ugly, are distasteful, not proper, um, things that are just part of your own natural self. I want them to understand how to embrace those things, but not to get confused with things like productive feedback or us as people who are a little bit more seasoned trying to give you advice, not to close your ears and your eyes to things like that, because all of us are still learning. We're all, lifelong learners. So there's a fine line with that. And that came out last year when I was going over the book in my summer camp during Girl Talk. I didn't want the girls to think, have that attitude like, this is just the way that I am, so just deal with it. Or this is how I was born, so just deal with it. There's a fine line between that and then you understanding how to embrace your beautiful natural self. So when they read this book, I want them to feel empowered, and I want them to understand that how you are right now, your selfie, it doesn't need a filter. You don't need to alter who you are to try to fit into someone else's definition and projection of what true beauty looks like. And this is the prerequisite to what effective leadership is. So some people don't realize that that really is the theme for My Selfie Needs No Filter. Everybody wants to be a girl boss. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be a CEO. You want to lead people. You want to have your own business. But before you can lead others and before you can tap into this type of lane, you got to understand yourself. And so when you understand the power behind these 5 selfie pillars, you become a better leader where you live, learn, work, and worship.
And see, I love that because, this podcast is all about empowerment. And the reason I am sitting here today is because I wish I had your voice, your book when I was in my teenage years, because I might not be almost to my 40s and really having to figure out who I am as a person.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm a mom. Yes, I'm a wife, but who am I? What do I really want?
yeah,
And it's it's so powerful in the education that we are doing now more than ever to empower these girls to live up to their fullest potential and
that's right.
helping them find their purpose in life. That
Yeah,
is huge for me, even
thank you.
with my son. It's even with my boys too, because so much of the time we get put into so many different boxes
Yeah,
that are not us. And so I think it's amazing because guess what? This information for my 5-year-old is going to be out there and it's just becoming more and more relevant. And to be able to show her that yes, a girl might tell you you're ugly or whatnot, but they're also dealing with their own insecurities
that's
because they're
right.
basically projecting. So
Yeah,
to be able to learn from my experiences, but also, like you said, being a learning based individual is going to help so much for that. And I love what you said about reading books with the kids. Well, I guess I can start
Well,
checking that on
when
my
they were
list.
teenagers, they would read their own books, and please tell me that in middle school they finally got rid of all the World War II books. Man, there was so much of that that even my boys were like, "We're sick of it." And if a boy's tired of the blowing stuff up war books, then you know it's bad. But
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about those 5 pillars. I want to hear more
Sure.
about what those are.
Yes, I would love to. And to your point, um, these 5 pillars, yes, they were designed for teenage girls 13 to 19. However, what I love about life is that as long as you're still here, you can continue to learn about the world, learn about yourself, and even reinvent yourself. We're sitting here today. What's today's date? June the 20 something?
25th.
The 25th. Okay. We don't know what 2025 is going to look like for us. We may think that, podcasting and being an author and all these great things is our lane, but we don't know what life is going to deal for us. And it could get so much more greater for us. And so while this book was designed for those girls, I have had grown women and men in their 40s tell me, Erica, this took me somewhere. This gave me what I needed to hear. Or Erica, the way that you put that spin on self-love, I never would have thought about it like that. So I love that, even where we are right now in our 30s and in our 40s and so on, we still have so much more life to live and so many more changes if we want to do that. And my Selfie, it needs no filter. It gives you that boost. It gives you that first pillar, self-esteem boost. Okay. The great thing about the pillars is that they weed and feed into each other. And so you have self-esteem, self-confidence, self-respect, self-care, and self-love. And we put self-love last because self-love is the foundation for all the other selfies. Okay. You have to be able to get to that level of self-love, but then there's a prerequisite to that as well, and that's self-like. We have to get to the point where when we look at ourselves in the mirror, yes, the reflection, but then also deeper, do we like what we see? If the answer is no, we need to be able to peel back those layers of that onion and start asking those 5 whys. This book helps us to be able to do that. Self-confidence. I remember when I was younger as an adolescent, my self-confidence was always on 10. I was raised where you can do anything, you can achieve anything, like you are a girl on fire. So my self-confidence, the way that I felt about my ability to do something was always on 10. My self-esteem, not so much. And so I wanted to start with self-esteem because that is how you feel about yourself. And so that's why we put it first. Not because self-esteem begins with the letter E and my name begins with the letter E. It just kind of fell into place like that. And then, like I said, they kind of weed and feed into each other.
I like it.
I mean, my program, my coaching program is called Getting Your Shit Together: Self-Care, Happiness, Inner Peace, and Time. And I actually did a live video today of how that all started. And the thing is when you are so busy giving to everybody else,
Yeah,
if you don't put yourself first, then it's hard to pour from an empty cup. It's hard to keep going because you don't even know who you are as an
that's true.
individual.
That is
I
true.
like that we talked about in a previous episode about ego and how to recognize that, and how, when we're born, we immediately are given a label in a name, and we're given a religion that we didn't choose, and we're given a location that we live in, and we have all these labels. And I feel like as those, we just keep getting added on, right? And then our friends add more labels onto that. I feel like your book does a good job of peeling back all of those and removing them. And if
Yeah.
you do it when you're younger, then you don't have as many of that layers that you've added in to
Yes.
get to it.
Yes. We're planting the seed. It was something that you had mentioned is, if you have it when you're younger, it makes it easier. And this is true because I think it was Michelle Obama. She was given an interview and she said something along the lines of, while you're young, you are in training for who you're going to become when you become an adult. So if you are someone who likes to procrastinate while you're an adolescent, you are in training to becoming an adult who continuously procrastinates. If you're someone who's never on time, if you're someone who does not know how to practice empathy, just all those things, it's just like with, when you have those training wheels on, the goal is to take them off so that you can start riding on your own and independently. That is typically what you are setting yourself up to become. And so now is when we want to plant those positive seeds of getting them to think about things and to see things in a different light. But we have to be able to serve as the example in order to be able to do that. And sometimes it is easier said than done, because let me tell you, my ambassadors, my girls, they will call me out. They will say, now, wait, Miss Erica, now you just told us. I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because I did say that yesterday. And so I said this today. So let's talk about what you all think may have changed. So I like how you brought that up. That's a great point.
And I love that's the open platform, because so many times as girls, for me personally, it was sit down, be quiet, how dare you, how
Oh,
dare you
pretty.
in it.
You'd be a lot happier if you just smile.
So it's one of those that you do have that open lines of communication that I feel so many kids do not have, whether it be in the home environment, whether it be in the school environment, to be able to voice their opinions and say, hey, I don't think you're right on this. So I love that you are allowing them to do that as well and having those open conversations.
Yeah, because some of it, with them being open is they're afraid. They're scared of what someone may say about their thoughts. They're afraid to be wrong. They're afraid to be judged, just all of those things. And so letting them know, I have to verbally tell them, this is a safe space and we are going to respect everybody's thoughts, their opinions, their ideas, because there are so many people who may be feeling the same way. You may be feeling the same way. So let's allow her to be expressive too. But yes, some of that is just fear of, what may come after they are expressive.
Yes.
Definitely. You have like a ladies leadership conference that girls can come to and summer camp. So I know there's going to be parents out there thinking about how can I get my daughter involved in some of the programs. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what you do in the leadership conference and then come in and tell us about the camps and what all they get to learn there.
Absolutely. So I do it in the fall. So September time, like right after school has started. So we are having our third annual My Selfie Needs No Filter Little Ladies of Leadership Conference on September the 21st, which is a Saturday, Pensacola, Florida, at the University of West Florida. And oh my gosh, it is a whole production. Okay, like it is so much fun. It is your senses are so heightened when you walk in, you hear the music, you hear laughter. Last year I had about 25 vendors. We have live performances, dynamic speakers. We have opportunities for some of the girls who've been selected to participate in the speakers panel. So I had a speakers panel of, I think it was like 13 to 14 and then like 15 to 18 or 19. And they were just asked, various questions about leadership, what My Selfie Needs No Filter mean to them, their career path. And then we had a women's speakers panel. So some of the professional women along the Gulf Coast came and talked about, how they got their start in their careers, because I think that is important. I think representation is important. Let me say it this way. So we can talk about My Selfie Needs No Filter in adolescent girls and, what it means for them to do certain things so that when they get older, they can have a sense of self. But I need for them to see women such as myself and like you two ladies in the flesh, live and in person, being able to talk to them, being approachable, ask them questions, see that being a doctor a teacher, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, podcast, podcast, and whatever it is that you want to do, that it is definitely attainable. And for them to understand that these types of things, it's not by way of a miracle. We have to put the work in. And so for them to know that these are things that you have to put your boots to the ground on, you have to be dedicated. There is a level of commitment. And then what does that mean in the real world? So they get all of those things when they come to the conference. We feed them. We have, of course, you can't have a My Selfie Needs No Filter conference without a 360 selfie booth. So we have multiple 360 selfie booths so that they get to ride on and things like that. And they walk away with a lot of goodies. Our speakers are so phenomenal. They speak on all the 5 selfie pillars and then some other things too, whatever their specializations are. And then we end with a big dance party where everybody's on the dance floor and we're able to just loosen up and things of that nature. It's just, it is a day of empowerment, inspiration. We are looking for some change to take place in that room. And I let them know, if you are here because you want to feel empowered, if you are here because you are ready to make some changes, we are not here to judge you. We don't care about what you did last night. We want you here and present and engaging so that we can connect on this level on this day. And it's just been phenomenal for the last 2 years. So definitely looking forward to it this year. Last year we had about 500. Well, the first year we had about 350. Last year we had about 500. So if we keep on that same trajectory, the goal is to have more than even the 500. So we'll see what happens this year.
Well, you may have to add another date.
We may have to add another
and
date.
Scale it that way. So do they come from all over the country?
They do, yes. Oh my gosh, all along the Gulf Coast. I think the one that came the furthest was Missouri. So we had them from Missouri,
Nice.
North Carolina, South Carolina, oh my gosh, Atlanta, Tampa, New Orleans, Mobile, oh my gosh, Montgomery. My guest speaker, I flew her in on the first year from Houston, Texas. Yeah, they come from all over.
I love that. I do.
I do too. I do too. I love the goodie bags and the
Yeah,
360 selfie things.
I'm
I
all
love
about
that.
conferences, though. I love it.
thank
It's such
you.
an powerful energy. Like, it
It
just,
definitely
yeah.
is. And I love that that they get to go. And I mean, the only kind of camps I did were really sports camps. I was an athlete, but you even then, I know, right? Me at my basketball camp. And I really loved that I met people there and there was a camaraderie about that. And as women, we're so hard on each other. We're hard on ourselves, but we're hard on each other and we judge it mental of people. And it's a bad habit to get into. And I like how they starting out young as a group and being
Yeah,
kind to one another and appreciating that their differences and that they're stronger because of their differences.
yeah.
Um, let's get a quick blurb about your camps and then how, because we're coming to the end. See, I told you we were going to come to the end faster than we were ready. And I want to, so your camps are something similar, but they're more of an extended period because they're a summer camp,
Yes.
but kind of the same kind of things, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah. So the camps are 1 week. They're 1 week camps, Monday through Friday. And of course, following the My Selfie Needs No Filter framework. So the camp is for 5 days. There are 5 selfie pillars. So each day of the camp, we highlight and go over one of those selfie pillars. And so I have experts from various fields. They come in and we do summer camp sessions. So let's say that we have about 50 to 75 girls in each session. We'll split them into whatever that math will be per the number of session leaders, and they'll stay with that session leader for about an hour and then they'll rotate. So by the end of the morning session, they would have went to each camp and we go over things such as financial literacy, entrepreneurship, interviewing for jobs, of course, self-esteem, all the selfie pillars. They do cooking, baking, photography. My emphasis is also on STEM. So with the health background, of course, I incorporate the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this year, we went to Baptist Hospital. They just built this beautiful new hospital in Pensacola, Florida. I mean, top of the line, with all the bells and whistles. So they gave us a grand tour. They had individuals come down from the C-suite and they did presentations for us. They put the little germ lotion on the girls' hands and then put it under the black light after they wash them to see how good of a job they did. They taught them how to do blood pressures. They taught them CPR techniques, how to help patients go, or even your family members who may be aging or have an ailment, how to go from like a sitting position to a standing position, how to get in and out of a Hoyer lift. Like it was so fantastic. And of course, Baptist Hospital was like, y'all need to be thinking about careers in the health field. So introduce them to all the different careers that were available for women, for girls who had interest like they did, but helping them understand that even if health isn't your jam, if you are more into technology, engineering, mathematics, healthcare can provide those kinds of careers for you. So that kind of got their minds open, because remember, they're only like 13 or 14. So this is new for them because they're thinking doctor, nurses, things like that. When they're thinking healthcare, they're not thinking of all the other things. So we did that, took them to a museum for, culture and, helping them to understand what cultural competency, diversity and inclusion, what it is, what it means. We did fun stuff like going to the pool and skating and things like that. But the camaraderie, which is what you had mentioned, those relationships, those just the connections that are made from last year, these girls are like BFFs. They call each other bestie. When they came this year, it was like, oh my God, my bestie's back. And they're hugging each other and all of that. And what I
love that kind of a support group when you're growing up.
Yeah, it's huge.
It is. I mean, I feel proud of you. And I don't know why, it just really instills a little bit of pride in me to hear what she has accomplished, and the young girls that are going to be growing up and be leaders and are going to have less trauma to deal with, and they're not hopefully not going to have to be traumatized to launch them into finding their true self again when they're older, because they've got these skills. So I'm super excited about that. And before we come out, I want you to tell everybody, please, how they can find out about your camps and your leadership program and enroll and buy your book.
Yeah, thank you.
So I was like, I'm missing something here. What am I missing? Oh yeah, the book.
Yeah. We cannot do any of what we do without our sponsors. We have such great and dedicated sponsors. Whatever it is that we need, as long as it's within their grasp, they are there. We have a lot of people that support our mission and what it is that we are trying to do. So if you are interested in having your girls attend the camp or the conference, you can go to myselfieneadsnofilter.com. If you're interested in volunteering your time and your talent to the conference or the camp, myselfieneadsnofilter.com. If you're interested in becoming a vendor at our conference, and I do have some other things coming, or if you want to be a sponsor, and every little thing helps. I don't care if it's a $35 conference ticket, because that's how much the conference tickets are. There's a place for you on myselfieneadsnofilter.com for you as well. If you are wanting to support the movement by purchasing a book on myselfieneadsnofilter.com, you can do that. And when you order online, you get a free gift as well. We also have our shirts. If you want to support the mission, they are on myselfieneadsnofilter.com. But if you are loyal to Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, you can go to any of those stores online and purchase the book as well.
I think I maybe purchased mine on Amazon.
You did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Amazon, but it's a great book and I do recommend it. And I think it's great that you are empowering young women that are going to be leaders of tomorrow. So please, everyone, check out myselfiehasnofilter.com, and we will have links to her website in show notes. And so we also encourage you to like, share, download, and listen to our podcast. We're available on YouTube and all platforms. And so until next time, we're out.
We are out.